Welcome to Dubs Talk Live. I'm Zena, Keita, joined by Dalton Johnson here in a beautiful suite at Chase Center. This is a new location for us, and it makes sense for the new vibe that came out of the game tonight. The Warriors won against the Brooklyn Nets, 124 versus 120, and finally got a win after the last 3 losses. Dalton, thoughts on the win for the Warriors?
Hey, home is where the heart is. It's also where Warriors losing streaks come to end. But nothing saves the Warriors like a Steph Curry fourth quarter flurry. It was just pure entertainment tonight. You saw the way that Chase Center was on its feet. All of Dub Nation was out of its seats. The way Steph was going off in the fourth quarter. So obviously, that's the biggest takeaway tonight is that it is nice to have number 30 on your side.
Always. And we've seen this all season, right? He's had these big performances. He's burdened himself. But tonight, it finally came down to a win. He is our BMW Ultimate Performer, obviously. So when you talk about that fourth quarter flurry, I mean, it was Splash Brothers back and forth, right? Because Klay Thompson included some hits himself. But really, Steph was like, I'm taking this into my own hands. We're getting a win tonight. I'm tired of losing. And that was evident through the way that he played.
When you talk about pure perfection, that's literally what Steph Curry's fourth quarter was. 16 points, 7 of 7 from the field, 5 of 5 on 2-pointers, 2 of 2 behind the 3-point line, +6 in a 4-point win. So he truly couldn't have played better in that fourth quarter. You saw the energy, the focus, the extra just gear that Steph Curry found, yelling at the crowd, yelling at the bench, yelling with GP2 on the sidelines after one of his huge three-pointers. So, again, it just felt like he was so locked in because, I mean, you saw some of his frustrations during this losing streak that he was sick of it. He was done with it. So the extra focus tonight from Steph Curry was just phenomenal.
I mean, you could see him coming up the court and being like, let me get the ball. Give me the ball. I need to get the ball. And there was 3 sequences that particularly stood out to me that made Chase Center stand up. He was going up against Cam Thomas, yo-yoed with Cam Thomas, hits the midi in his face. They go down. They score. I'll give him that. They come back. He goes off a screen for Kevon Looney, sidesteps, hits the 3 in their face. They go down. They don't score. They come back. Another 3 from Curry. It was just back to back to back. Like you said, a flurry, but it made Chase Center go crazy. And that's when you knew the momentum was really their way.
Especially after that rough third quarter, right? I mean, where the Warriors are outscored by 10 points. It's another game where you're going, God, they had an 18-point lead. Are they going to see it slip away? And that's where Steph Curry just has that extra step to him where you see the great ones where they're just sick of it. I know it's only the 24th game of the season, but look, the season can get away from you in a hurry. The Warriors know where they are in the standings. They know that coming to this game, they're not even a play-in team right now. And Steph Curry's going to do everything he can to buck the notion when it comes to that, right? I mean, he scored 10 points in a minute 40. He scored 12 straight points in under 2 minutes of actual gameplay. And that's where you're talking about a Steph Curry flurry, where it's not just the entirety of the fourth quarter, it's that it can be in a blink of an eye. And that has to be so demoralizing for a Brooklyn defense. I think it might have been the Cam Thomas play that you were talking about where he hit it, and Steph kind of just gave a mean mug to the bench, to the Warriors fans, and you're seeing the Nets defense kind of just like, really? Come on, dude.
It really just sucks. It literally just sucks the life out of you. I mean, also make sure to know, 16 points in that fourth quarter, 5, 9, and 7 in the quarters before. So really pretty quiet performances before he woke up in the fourth quarter. He's at the podium. We'll see what he had to say about his performance and the game tonight.
So I understand you warmed up actually kind of early today. Was there a different reason why you decided to do early warm-ups?
Y'all don't miss anything. Just want to change it up a little bit to get the mind and body prepared to play. Kind of mess around with tweaks every so often throughout the year. But it's just a call of, just trying to get some space, before the game, a little bit more time to kind of get right and pay it off.
The determination was kind of evident, but what was the mindset when you came into the game with 8:40 to go?
Make shots, obviously try to be aggressive, keep the game simple because they're a switching team. They have a lot of length, and I think we had some turnovers where we were trying to force stuff that wasn't there in the third quarter. play right into their hands. So I just try to make it, as simple as possible, pick and roll, trying to get the ball moving that way. Obviously, I hit some shots, but, just be aggressive as much as you can. Attack, where the gaps were. I obviously live with the shots that I take every night, and they went in tonight.
Did you realize in the fourth quarter that you made every shot? Were you aware of that, or is that something that
I'm very aware, yes. Yes.
You were kind of particularly fired up when you forced that timeout in the fourth. Was that them talking at all, or was that?
We needed this win extremely bad, and that was a good momentum swing. And I was a little bit tired. So I wanted them to take a timeout so I could go to the bench.
Steve mentioned he thought the last 4 or 5 days have been a little bit emotionally draining on you. Has it?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of conversations, a lot of noise around us. We had a meeting after or the day before the LA game that was important for us to kind of settle on where we were, what was going on, and for everybody to kind of, say how they felt. And, the game of basketball presents a lot of challenges on the court, but the friendships that you have and the connection that you have, especially for a guy like Draymond, who we've been to war with for over a decade, like all that stuff does weigh on you because you're trying to figure it out. You're trying to, support him, but also it's just basketball, but there is a lot of, stress that you carry to perform, while you're, kind of managing all of the emotions that were going on and trying to just, be in the right place, for each other. So it's a lot, but every year presents a certain challenge, and you got to be mentally tough through it all. And I do pride myself on trying to, bounce back from games or from, times in the season where it gets a little low.
Steve, the way Steve put it was that you've carried the team for much of the season to this point. How much burden do you feel, and is it magnified with Draymond out and with some of the veterans, Wiggins obviously not playing the way he usually does? Do you feel that, or do you feel re-energized maybe with some of the young guys coming in and contributing the way they have?
We're a team, man. I have a job to do, and again, I prepare myself mentally and physically to go do it every night, and have done that for a long time. But it's not just me. I can't go win a game by myself. I can play well, and I have to play well. I know that, but I don't win the game by myself. So I guess both, to your question. Like, there's definitely a pressure, and I live for those type of moments. But there's guys getting an opportunity to step up, and we're learning a lot about ourselves as we go. And confidence is starting to build. It's one game. Got to try to win tomorrow. The same kind of energy. So that's how I approach it. I think I told the team before the game, we have to be able to get lost in the game as much as you can, because with all the stuff that's going on, you can put a little bit too much pressure on yourself or get a little ahead of yourself on trying to get the results without just, enjoying the process. So that was my only message, and I got lost in the game tonight.
What a beautiful message. Get lost in the game. And that's exactly what he did, making this accomplishment tonight. He was 1 3-pointer shy coming into this game. He became the first player in NBA history to reach 3,500 threes. Now, to be fair, every single three he's made since he hit 3,000 has been a record, right? But it's still a nice number. It's a nice, beautiful, round number.
It's not a record, but it's a reminder. It's a reminder of Steph Curry's greatness. The fact that he's now made a three-pointer in 268 consecutive regular season games just goes by us. Like, it's ho-hum, no big deal.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be like that, right? And that's when you really know the sign of greatness.
Yeah.
That to get to a record like that where no one else is even in the 3,000 club, that it's not a record, but it's a reminder. Again, it just speaks to the greatness that is Steph Curry.
And again, That's what you want to see, someone hitting a milestone like that and still getting lost in the game.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about his splash brother, okay? Because combined 61 points between him and Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson in the last 2 games has been shooting 50% from 3. He has been phenomenal and starting out early and being consistent throughout the night. 24 points tonight, 7 of 19 from the floor, 4 of 9 from 3, 2 of them coming in the fourth quarter at key moments. Unbelievable performance. What do you think of Klay tonight?
Just a really solid overall performance. I mean, Klay has said that, yeah, there was a few shots he wishes he could take back tonight.
Sure.
But overall, not one where you're going, God, what is he, what are you seeing out there?
Right.
Good shots. Again, only a few that you might be questioning, but the efficiency's really starting to come together now. 4 of 9 from three-point range, 5 rebounds. I really like seeing him go 6 for 6 at the free throw line.
Yeah.
And I believe all 6 were in the first quarter. So that, I think, to do that in the first quarter kind of sets the tone for what Klay Thompson can do the rest of the game. Yes, Steph Curry is the one who's going to get the headlines. The Steph Curry fourth quarter performance was phenomenal, of course. But the Splash Brothers combined for 22 of the Warriors' 29 fourth quarter points. As you said, 61 points, but not just 61 points, 21 of 41 shooting, 10 of 17 from three-point range.
Right.
So overall, this was a Splash Brothers game,
Yes.
not only a Steph Curry game. And Steph Curry just said it. He can't win a game by himself. We've seen him come awfully close and probably won a few games by himself in the past. But when he has his backcourt mate doing that, it opens up everything for everybody else and just breeds confidence to this entire team.
Right, and Steph wasn't the only one hitting a milestone. You just saw Klay Thompson getting the 9th most regular season threes past Jason Terry. So all around great performance by the Splash Brothers. They added another person to that mix. A little rookie named Brandin Podziemski. And I'm not going to say little because he was playing big, and he has been playing big all season long. Tonight, Brandin Podziemski, this is his second start of this week, but of his career, and he has really shown progress. You think about the last game, he was -8 for the game, only 4 points, did have 7 rebounds. But what I love about this is the way he came back this game. When you look at a rookie's game and his ability to bounce back from such a tough performance against the Clippers, he was remarkable.
Yeah, 2 of 11 from the field against the Clippers, right? So the shot wasn't falling, and the shot is obviously what we all knew about from Santa Clara. The 4 of 9 from three-point range tonight for Brandin Podziemski, which is a career high. That's the player that we all envisioned coming into this. But it's all the little things he does that really give the impact on the game. There was a sequence in the second quarter, I believe, that showed me just who Brandin Podziemski is, where he makes a three-pointer, 8 seconds later, takes a charge. It was his second charge of the game, his second charge within his first 13 minutes. So that's the little things that he does. At the end of the game, he flew in for that game-sealing rebound, and right away you saw Steph going, give me the ball, give me the ball. He got it, got past, got the final 2 points right there. So that is the real Brandin Podziemski experience. It's not just the shooting, but when he can give you 19 points and 4 three-pointers, now that is a very sweet cherry on top.
Brandin Podziemski has 11 charges now on the season, ranks in the top 10 for charges drawn. Don't go anywhere. We have more experiences to talk about, like the Dario and CP3 connection. It's a thing. I don't know if you noticed it tonight. We'll talk about it when we get back. Don't go anywhere.
Dubs Talk Live is presented by Mancini Sleep World. Visit Mancini Sleep World during the year-end clearance event, or visit sleepworld.com.
What up, YouTube fam? I know you guys are home or wherever you are, tuning in with us, celebrating a big, much-needed Warriors win. That's what I'm seeing all the way throughout the comments. Just much needed, really, really exciting. I think the biggest thing that there's, the general aspect D mentioned, fun game tonight, right? And it was fun, and I like the way that Steph, kind of reiterates that of get lost in the game. When you think about the fact that these guys are NBA players, this is their job to play a game that we find fun to watch or fun to play. They really enjoy it, and tonight you actually see it not being a job, but really a game that they were having fun with.
I think about even just when Steph Curry, whenever his career comes to a close, it's not anytime soon. We know that. But it's not just the greatness that we get to see from him. It is the fun. It is the entertainment. And it's just what you don't get from every superstar in the league right now or in the league in NBA history.
Yep.
He brings pure fun, pure entertainment to the court every time. So it's just something where, like you said, it was just a fun game in general. Yeah, there was a time where you're going, again, another big lead, but a really fun game in general where you had Cam Thomas scoring 41 points going off for Brooklyn. So a very entertaining game from both sides.
And I really do like that the Brooklyn team, there was a reporter, Evan Barnes, that mentioned that they're kind of like an older OKC. Like they used to be OKC, but they've now elevated, and they're a really fun team to watch too. Shout out to Mikal Bridges. I think the way he plays his game is really admirable.
Him and Cam Johnson, definitely.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah.
So great opponent tonight for the Warriors to be able to get a W against. Respect them a lot as a program. Welcome back to Dubs Talk Live. Zena, Keita here, breaking down the win with Dalton Johnson. I was going to say Dario because we're about to talk about Dario Saric and his connection with CP3. We've been talking about this all season. In the offseason, Chris Paul said when they needed to talk to Dario Saric or have the opportunity to bring him onto the team, he made the call. I get why. When you saw them tonight, especially when they came in coming off of the bench, there were several plays where you saw their comfort with each other, being able to play off of each other, being able to read things. There was one particular play in which Dario Saric was on the wing and Moody was on the left side post. As Dario was rolling to the right side post, it was right there, Chris Paul said, Moody, get out the way. Dario's about to get this layup, and that's exactly what happened. They just know where they're going to be at all times, and it was a lovely connection tonight for them.
There's such a different duo and partnership than a Steph Curry and Draymond Green.
Yeah,
but it
that's a
reminds
great
me
point.
as far as having like this unspoken language.
Yeah.
Just this connection of I know where you're supposed to be, I know where you're going to be, and you just see even like little finger points. Where
Yes.
even when the offense might not seem completely in sync, if Chris Paul and Dario Saric are there together, you know that things are going to get in better flow, at least with the two of them. Where, again, you saw where Dario Saric, the offense that he can provide to this Warriors team is huge. I mean, I think he had 10 points in the first quarter.
Yes, off of CP3's
Of course,
assists.
right, yes.
Which is crazy.
And that's kind of the point of some of these rotation and starting lineup changes is the fact that you can still right away after like 5-6 minutes, then you get that duo in there. So it is a very good changeup that the Warriors, that Steve Kerr can give to the opposing defense. I mean, 10 more assists tonight from Chris Paul. That led to 29 points for the Warriors, right? So, yes, their tandem definitely sticks out. And a group that has a lot of star power, their unspoken language is something that you can just see and feel on the court.
Yeah, and it's a great surge, as you mentioned. Coming off the bench, you can kind of count on that. Now, 70 points in the first half. Whew. But you know the test of the Warriors has been the sustainability of that into the second. And what is fascinating, for people who aren't lifelong Warrior fans and are just learning about the Warriors, they'd be shocked to know that third quarter Warriors meant something very different a long time ago. It was a scary group in the third. It was like they went into the locker room and drank that juice off of Space Jam and came back out, okay? Just look at where they were in terms of their point per game difference, per quarter, versus in 2014 and 2015 to now, right? There's no advantage now, them coming out of the third quarter. Whereas back in the day, you could count on a 3 to 5 to 4 to 5 difference. I mean, this was their bread and butter. They came out running guns blazing, and now it's a very different team. They almost lost the lead in the third quarter. And that was really the game difference that made it tight for a little bit.
Yeah, I wish I had the right explanation when it comes to the third quarter, because as you said, it was literally just like this third quarter match. The third quarter Warriors were a thing. They might have been trademarked, right? Yeah, it was the third quarter Warriors.
Right.
And it's different now. Maybe it's age factor. Maybe it is just understanding their motion offense. Because, a lot of it is what we've seen for the last 10 years now.
Yeah,
and for a long time at the start, everything was new to the NBA with Steve Kerr, Steph, Clay. This was all new. it's not so much new anymore, right? And again, maybe a little bit is an age factor.
Yeah.
So I don't think that they have the right answers. I don't know if we have the right answers quite yet. We're going to continue to search for them.
Sure.
But yeah, it's tough because you got to be able to sustain a full 4-quarter game, especially defensively. Even more than offensively, because you know that Steph can have a fourth quarter. You know Klay Thompson can get going, but you got to be able to make those stops for all 4 quarters.
I think this, kind of makeshift starting lineup with Brandin Podziemski and Kuminga thrown in there should be able to help, right? Being able to give that surge. But then there's the aspect of mental mistakes that come from youth and that defensive aspect. And I wanted to shift to a conversation around defense because when you think about 70-54 going into the first half and then the Nets coming out with a 29-point third quarter, the number one thing you saw differentiation, in the third quarter was not being able to guard the 3-point line. They went off from 3, and it wasn't as if the shots that they were having were, they were just making hard shots. No, they were getting wide open looks. What were you seeing from a defensive perspective that shifted and needed to be adjusted in the third quarter?
It's not new, but it feels like the Warriors have had kind of a bit of a consistent problem as far as overhelping goes, where that does just kind of leave, where if there's an extra pass, someone's usually wide open when it comes to that. And again, it's not maybe for all 4 quarters, but there's stretches that can really hurt them defensively when it comes to that. Yeah, and not to make excuses, of course it hurts when you don't have probably your 2 best defensive players.
That's a great point.
In Draymond Green, in Gary Payton II.
Right.
And it's not just what they can do as far as defensive skill set, it's the communication that goes a long way.
Yes.
Yeah, right. So it's not that they're just great, on-ball defenders. They're great team defensive players as well, right? So I think those are certain concepts that a Jonathan Kuminga is maybe still fine-tuning because he has such great athleticism. He wants to play on ball. He wants to guard the best scorer, but sometimes the team defensive concepts, he can be a step or 2 behind, right? So I think the communication factor is where the Warriors are really missing Draymond Green defensively as much as anything else right now.
Yeah, but I will say, in the midst of them trying to improve that defensive issue of the overhelping or just not being able to get out on shooters, this was a better game from them from a fouling perspective.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That was huge for them, being able to be less aggressive, being able to have the ability to stop defensive efforts and then not let them just get out. Right? Because that's the issue where you're letting people get out too quickly and you're not set on defense and they're coming at you while you're still trying to get set up. You're more likely and more prone to foul. And so I thought that was an improvement. What did you see from that perspective?
That was one of my main takeaways. It was defending without fouling. After the first quarter, the Warriors were whistled for 1 foul.
Wow.
At the end of the game, they were called for 6 fewer fouls than the Nets, and they made 6 more free throws in a 4-point win. So it's those little margins that you're always looking for, right? And we saw in the Clippers lost. The free throw line might have been the biggest difference. We know, of course, it's a James Harden.
I was just going to say James Harden.
We know that. Yes.
Yeah,
but overall, defending without fouling was a major improvement to watch tonight, I thought, to set the tone in the first quarter. Sure, was a little bit more slip-ups as it went along the way, of course. But 1 foul in the first quarter, that has to be a gold star when it comes to Steve Kerr.
Right.
My gosh.
I know he was very impressed. And that is what they have to bring for the next game. That's what Steph Curry said. This is a game. This is a win. Awesome. But they've got to take it to the next game. So when we come back, we'll see the next game they got to take it to. Don't go anywhere. This is Dubs Talk Live. Yep, peace be free, 1 game at a time. And that's what you have to do. You got to build on every single thing that you've done in a win that you liked and that you needed and that you've been trying to work on and that you've been trying to break the mold on, right? And take it to the next game, 1 game at a time. I also think that this is interesting, especially, and it's going to be hard to do. Rebel the Sound said, Kerr's still searching for that death lineup 2.0. And that was what the third quarter Warriors really had, right? Was that death lineup, particularly when Kevin Durant joined the team. It was insane. to think that you're trying to guard Steph Curry and you're trying to guard Klay Thompson. Meanwhile, Draymond's floor directing all of that. And then, oh, wait, we've got this guy over here called Kevin Durant that we also have to address. It was unreal for defenses to try to, take advantage of. But I don't know. Now that Draymond's out, it's going to be hard to find that. But do you think that maybe you can see something in the young kids?
Yeah, I mean, let's remember, we're never going to see that kind of death lineup again. Not just on the Warriors.
Yeah.
In the NBA.
Yeah.
I mean, that first season of Kevin Durant here, that truly might be the greatest team we've ever seen with NBA history, right? So I think that you look at somebody like a Moses Moody, a Brandin Podziemski, they have little flashes of Andre Iguodala, people like that, right, who can impact the game in more than just scoring, for sure. So yeah, I think that they're finding their footing. They've made the changes that you want to see with Wiggins going to the bench. So yes, these next few games are going to tell us a lot as far as just the fluidity, the cohesiveness, the chemistry, all of that kind of stuff.
I agree. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's fun to see kind of a little bit shaken up a little bit.
Welcome back to Dubs Talk Live. It is time to look ahead. The Warriors won one game tonight, 124-120 against Brooklyn, but they got things to do. They got to keep it rolling. And this time they're going back on the road against Portland before bringing it back for 3 big home games next week. Got Portland, again, that was a game that was supposed to be an easy win. Came down to the last few seconds there. And then you think about Boston. That's always going to be a really big-time matchup. Those are those kind of gut-check kind of games, right? How do you match up against big-time talent, especially in the Eastern Conference, someone you're not seeing as often? Washington's always an interesting one because of some history. But there's going to be some big-time games for them to, be able to come out and see if they can keep this going. What are you excited for when you look at that lineup?
Well, look, of course, the Boston Celtics are a huge challenge, but you got to take care of business first. In Portland, the Warriors have lost 7 straight games on the road after such a strong start on the road to the season. So they know that, hey, tonight, good win, but it's just a blip if they don't go to Portland and get a win. And for me, it's not just a close win. You want to see a win where they can have some breathing room in the Pacific Northwest.
I would like for the starters to be sitting down on the bench. But speaking of someone that's on the bench that you wish was out on the floor, Gary Payton II. We did have a wonderful conversation on Dubs Talk Live. Shout out to Monty Poole, Dalton Johnson. You guys killed it with this conversation. A very interesting story that Gary Payton has to share. But we appreciate you guys tuning in tonight to Dubs Talk Live. Zena, Keita, Dalton Johnson. Warriors win against the Nets, 124-120. Enjoy the win. Enjoy the night, folks. Hello, friends. I know there's some folks, Days mentioned this, good dub, but once again, gave up a big lead. Yeah. That's the next challenge. Right? That's the next challenge. I was very, very impressed with their ability to come back.
That too, right?
That's big. That resiliency.
We hit on not another night where they're up by 18. They've lost that huge lead, but to come back from it was big because that's what we haven't seen in the past, where we've seen all these blown major leads, but then once the other team goes ahead, it's been hard for the Warriors to regain that lead. So for them to regain it in the fourth quarter the way they did, it helps to have Steph Curry on your side, of course.
Always.
But yes, to regain that lead with the resiliency, as you brought up, a big win for the Warriors. They just needed it, hands down.
I agree. There was no TJD tonight. That was an interesting choice.
Yeah, I'd like to see more of him. I would. Just because, again, I think that he brings something that this roster needs and something that the rest of the roster just doesn't have.
Right.
He is the rim protector. He could be the rim runner. All of this, right? So I would like to see him going forward. Hopefully the Warriors can get a comfortable enough lead against the Blazers where Steve Kerr can give them a little bit of leeway. We'll see, of course, right? It's hard when you're having when you're on a losing streak and you're just like, I just need these guys to just give me a win. I don't care who's on the floor, right?
Right.
So when you're looking at minutes and rotations, they just needed a win tonight.
Yeah, that's true.
That's all they cared
They
about.
needed it
just
desperately.
Get a win.
Yeah. And now they need one desperately in Portland to be able to win on the road.
Yeah.
Because that is the problem with,
Yeah.
6 straight road losses.
7, I believe.
7,
now,
believe. Yeah, that's right. 7 straight road losses. Not good.
Magic
Not
8
good
ball
for morale.
says yes.
Right. Yeah. That's what they need. They need
Right,
a Magic 8 ball
yeah.
somewhere. I'm going to call it the Magic 30 ball.
Oh, I like that.
They need a Magic 30 ball to
Hey,
get-
Monte Ellis was in the building tonight. The Magic 8 ball right there.
That's right.
Look at that. Yeah.
That's okay. I think
That's
we have to
teamwork.
end on that.
I know,
don't
right? Yes.
I don't know if we have anything else to say.
Yeah.
Monte, ooh, Dalton.
Oh, look at the nuts. Scoop some
Yes,
nuts.
yes. We appreciate you guys joining up, and obviously all the comments. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We got to keep it going, one game at a time. All right, guys. Good night.
Stay tuned.